إذا كنت تريد أن تكون على مذهب السلف تعلم مذهب السلف.
الحمد لله رب العالمين والصلاة والسلام على خير الأنبياء والمرسلين نبينا محمد وعلى آله وصحبه أجمعين. نعم أيها الأخوة, فإنشاءالله تعالى we continue with our study or our reading from Al-Mulakhas Al-Fiqhī by Shaykh Salih Al-Fawzān حفظه تعالى, and we got to or reached up until the chapter of Bābun fi Ahkām al-Ghusl, chapter with regards to the rulings pertaining to the ghusl. So the Shaykh Salih Al-Fawzān حفظه تعالى says, عرفت مما سبق أحكام الطهارة من الحدث الأصغر ونواقضها، فكنت بحاجة إلى أن تعرف أحكام الطهارة من الحدث الأكبر جنابة كان أو حيضا أو نفاسا. So he says that we have come to know from what has preceded the rulings in relation to purifying oneself from a minor impurity and those things likewise that nullify that. So now you're in need of knowing the rulings in relation to purifying oneself from a major impurity such as janaba and likewise hayd and likewise nifasan, so menstruation and postnatal bleeding. وهذه الطهارة تسمى بالغسل بضم الغين وهو استعمال الماء في جميع البدن على صفة مخصوصة يأتي بيانها. So this tahara, this type of purification is called or referred to as al-ghusl with a dhamma on the ghain, al-ghusl, and it is using water or pouring water over the entire body in a specific mannerism, which we will mention later on بإذن الله تعالى. والدليل على وجوبه قول الله تعالى وَإِن كُنْتُمْ جُنُبًا فَاتَّهَّرُوا. And the evidence for its obligation is the statement of Allah Ta'ala, and if you are in a state of being junub, a state of janaba, then purify yourselves. وَقَدْ ذَكَرُوا أَنَّ الْغُسْلَ مِنَ الْجَنَابَةِ كَانَ مَعْمُولًا بِهِ فِي الْجَاهِلِيَّةِ وَهُوَ مِنْ بَقَايَا دِينِ إِبْرَاهِيمَ عَلَيْهِ الصَّلَاةُ وَالسَّلَامُ. Now, as we mentioned by some of the scholars, that ghusl from a state of impurity such as janaba, that is something that was acted upon even in the times of Jahiliyyah that predated Islam. And it is from those things that remained behind after the religion of Ibrahim alayhi salatu wassalam. وموجبات الغسل ستة أشياء إذا حصل واحد منها وجب على المسلم الاغتسال. So those things that obligate one to perform the ghusl are 6 affairs. If one of them occurs to a person, then the ghusl is made obligatory, is wajib upon him. أحدها, the first one, خروج المني من مخرجه من الذكر أو الأنثى. So it's the ejaculation of seminal fluid from the male private part and likewise from the female private part. ولا يخلو إما أن يخرج في حال اليقظة أو حال النوم. And it either occurs when a person is awake or whilst a person is sleeping. فإن خرج في حال اليقظة اشترط وجود اللذة بخروجه، فإن خرج بدون لذة لم يوجب الغسل، كالذي يخرج بسبب مرض أو عدم إمساك. So if it occurs to a person whilst he is awake, then it is a condition that that sexual pleasure has taken place. For if has come or he has ejaculated without having any sexual desire or sexual pleasure, then ghusl is not made wajib, is not obligatory upon him, such as the one who seminal fluid exits from him due to an illness that he may have, or for example an inability to control himself. وإن خرج في حال النوم وهو ما يسمى بالاحتلام وجب الغسل مطلقا لفقد إدراكه فقد لا يشعر باللذة. And if it exits from him when he is asleep, then this is what is called as having a wet dream. And ghusl is obligatory upon him in all circumstances, because he is unconscious and he is not aware or he cannot feel any type of sexual pleasure. فالنائم إذا استيقظ ووجد أثر المني وجب عليه الغسل وإن احتلم ولم يخرج منه مني ولم يجد له أثر لم يجب عليه الغسل. So the one who is asleep and then he wakes up and he finds that he has some seminal fluid upon him, then ghusl is an obligation upon him. And if he has had a wet dream, however, no seminal fluid has exited from him, then ghusl is not wajib upon him. So it's not an obligation upon him. So there's two circumstances. Either he wakes up from his wet dream and he finds that he has seminal fluid on him, on his clothing, then upon this person is what? Is to perform ghusl. It's wajib for him to perform ghusl. And then the second circumstance is the one who has a wet dream. He feels like he has a wet dream. However, he wakes up and he finds no trace of seminal fluid. So this person does not have to perform ghusl. The ghusl here is not wajib for him. The second thing that obligates one to perform ghusl is إيلاج الذكر في الفرج, the insertion of the male private part into the female private part. وَلَوْ لَمْ يَحْصُلْ إِنزَالٌ, and even if there doesn't occur ejaculation. للحديث الذي رواه مسلم وغيره عن النبي صلى الله عليه وسلم إذا جلس بين شعبها الأربع ثم مس الختان الختان فقد وجب الغسل فيجب الغسل على الواطي والموطوءة بالإيلاج ولو لم يحصل إنزال لهذا الحديث ولإجماع أهل العلم على ذلك. So, and that is due to the hadith of Nabi alayhi salatu wasalam, that when a man places himself amidst the four parts of a woman and their two circumcised parts of their genitalia touch, then ghusl is obligatory upon them. So both male and female have to perform ghusl. And even if ejaculation does not occur due to this hadith that we've just mentioned, and likewise due to the consensus of the people of knowledge with regards to that. الثالث من موجبات الغسل, the third thing from that which obligates one to perform ghusl عند طائفة من العلماء, with some of the, or a group from amongst the scholars, is Islam al-Kafir, the Islam of a kafir, someone entering into and embracing Islam. فإذا أسلم الكافر وجب عليه الغسل لأن النبي صلى الله عليه وسلم أمر بعض الذين أسلموا أن يغتسلوا. So if a person, the disbeliever, if a kafir, accepts and embraces Islam, then ghusl is made obligatory upon him. And that is because Nabi alayhi salatu wasalam, that he ordered those who accepted and embraced Islam to perform the ghusl. ويرى كثير من أهل العلم أن الاغتسال الكافر إذا أسلم مستحب وليس بواجب لأنه لم ينقل عن النبي صلى الله عليه وسلم أنه كان يأمر به كل من أسلم فيحمل الأمر به على الاستحباب جمعا بين الأدلة والله أعلم. And many from amongst the people of knowledge, that they hold the ghusl of the one who accepts and enters into Islam as being an affair that is mustahab, that is recommended, and not an affair that is obligatory. And that is because it has not come that Nabi sallallahu alaihi wasallam ordered every single person who accepted and embraced Islam, that he did not order every one of them with performing the ghusl. So, this order here is considered as something that is just a recommendation, not an obligation, gathering between all of the evidences, and Allah Ta'ala knows best. الرابع, the fourth affair, من موجبات الغسل الموت فيجب تغسيل الميت. So the fourth affair is washing the dead. When a person washes the dead. غير الشهيد في المعركة, other than the one who is a martyr and died in a battle. فإنه لا يغسل, so he is not to be washed. وتفاصيل ذلك تأتي في أحكام الجنائز إن شاء الله. And the details of that will come in the book of Janazah or Janaiz بإذن الله تعالى. طيب, the fifth and the sixth affair from those things that obligate a person to perform ghusl, the fifth and the sixth, they are coupled together, is the hayd, والنفاس, the menstruating, and likewise the postnatal bleeding. لقوله صلى الله عليه وسلم فإذا أقبلت حيضتك فدع الصلاة وإذا أدبرت فاغسلي عنك الدم ثم صلي. That's due to the statement of Nabi عليه الصلاة والسلام that if your menstrual cycle starts, then stop praying the salah, and if it exits or ends, then perform the ghusl or wash from you the blood and then pray. وقوله تعالى فإذا تطهرنا, that when they become pure. الحيض يتطهرن بالاغتسال بعد انتهاء الحيض. The one who is on the menstruating woman, that when they become pure, that they are to make ghusl after they have finished their menstruation or menstrual cycle. So recap the six. So who can mention to me from those six affairs we just mentioned? خروج المني نعم. So the exiting من الذكر والأنثى نعم. So the exiting of seminal fluid from the male and the female private part. طيب, another affair that we mentioned. نعم, so intercourse. نعم. Third affair that we mentioned.
Someone embracing Islam.
نعم, someone embracing Islam. With some of the ulama that we mentioned. نعم, Shaykh Salih Al-Fawzān said, with some of the ulama. However, he said the correct opinion is that it is mustahab, it is recommended, and Allah knows best. نعم. Washing the dead, likewise, and also الحيض والنفاس. نعم. أحسن. Nifas is postnatal bleeding. Postnatal bleeding. نعم. طيب, and then we have some other affairs. We mentioned, perhaps we mentioned, suffice us, one of them, that some of the ulama have differing with regards to whether they obligate the ghusl or not. So one of those affairs is ghusl يوم الجمعة. ghusl يوم الجمعة, because some of the ulama hold it to be wajib. Some of the ulama have said that it's obligatory. So we have that first opinion, that the ghusl for يوم الجمعة is wajib, it's an obligation. And the dalil, they have the hadith of Abi Sa'id Al-Khudri radiyallahu ta'ala anhu, that Nabi alayhi salatu wasalam said, غسل يوم الجمعة واجب على كل محتلم, that ghusl, performing ghusl for Jum'ah, is an obligation upon every single person who has reached who is now able to have a wet dream, يعني they have reached an age of puberty. طيب, and they have another hadith as well that they use. إذا أتى أحدكم الجمعة فليغتسل. If one of you comes to the Jum'ah, then perform ghusl. Perform ghusl. And both these hadith are narrated by Al-Bukhari. And we have a second opinion that it is mustahab. And this is the opinion of the Jamhur of the ulama. The majority of the scholars say that ghusl yawm al-Jum'ah is mustahab. It is not wajib. And they use as the evidence the hadith of Samurah radiyallahu anhu, that Nabi alayhi salatu wasalam said, من توضأ يوم الجمعة فبها ونعمت ومن اغتسل فالغسل أفضل. So they have the hadith where Nabi alayhi salatu wasalam says, whoever makes wudu for the Friday prayer, then it is sufficient. And whoever makes ghusl, then ghusl is better. So Nabi sallallahu alayhi wa sallam referred to it as being better. They said the one who has made wudu for the Friday prayer, then it is sufficient. So they use this hadith to show that the ghusl for Yawm al-Jum'ah is mustahab. It is an affair that is recommended and not wajib. This is the opinion of Shaykh bin Baz rahimahullah ta'ala, and he said after presenting this evidence, وَلِذَلِكَ يُعْلَمْ أَنَّ قَوْلَهُ صلى الله عليه وسلم واجب ليس معناه الفرضية وإنما هو بمعنى متأكد. So like this, due to this hadith, that we know that the statement of Nabi صلى الله عليه وسلم when he said it is wajib, when he said غسل يوم الجمعة wajibun, that he said it's an obligation. Rather, the meaning here of obligation doesn't mean that it is a must and that person has to perform it. Rather, the meaning here is an emphasis. It is used as an emphasis in affirmation of the importance of making the ghusl for Yawm al-Jum'ah. Now, however, the issue here is that this hadith, the hadith that we mentioned of Samurah radiyallahu anhu, that many of the ulama declare this hadith as da'if. So many of the ulama, they say this hadith is weak. And that is due to the fact that it has been narrated by Hasan al-Basri on the authority of Samurah. And Hasan al-Basri was known for tadlis. He was known for tadlis. And here we have a narration which is an an'ana, that he said an, that he wasn't explicit in saying that he heard it from Samurah. Rather, he used the word an, on the authority of, and he didn't say the word I heard him say, or he narrated to us. So he generalized the hadith and he said on the authority, and what is known from him is tadlis. So some of the ulama say that this hadith is munqati', there is a disconnected hadith. And therefore, as we know, that a weak hadith, that it doesn't compare to an authentic hadith, because the first hadith we mentioned, hadith of Abu Sa'id Al-Khudri, is in Bukhari. It's Sahih. The hadith is Sahih. So we now have that hadith, and then we have this other hadith, hadith of Samurah, that some of the ulama hold to be weak. So therefore the two cannot be compared, let alone that the weaker hadith, that it makes sarf of the hukum, it changes the ruling in the first hadith, because the ruling in the first hadith, hadith of Abu Sa'id Al-Khudri, is what? Is that it's wajib. The Nabi sallallahu alayhi wa sallam said wajib, so it's an obligation. So a weak hadith cannot make sarf of that hukum, it cannot change that original ruling. And we know that the asl of any hadith is that we take it upon its apparent meaning. So the word wajib was used, an obligation. Again, we had a command for ghusl, فَلْيَغْتَسِلْ, so you should perform ghusl. So these are all forms of wujub, of an obligation. So therefore a weak hadith cannot change the original ruling from an obligation to something which is less or slightly less. Well, the hadith in itself is weak according to some of the ulama. But we have another hadith that Ibn Baz rahimahullah ta'ala mentions as well, to further support his opinion that is mustahab. And this hadith is found in Muslim. So hadith is found in Muslim. The Nabi alayhi salatu wasalam said, من توضأ فأحسن الوضوء ثم أتى الجمعة فاستمع وأنصت غفر له ما بينه وبين الجمعة إلى آخر الحديث. The Nabi sallallahu alayhi wa sallam said, the one who performs wudu, and listen to the wording carefully, the one who performs wudu and he perfects his wudu, and then he comes to the Jum'ah and he listens attentively and remains silent, to the khutbah, then he is forgiven whatever is between him and the next Jum'ah. So the one who makes wudu, what's the shahid here? Man tawadda'a, the one who makes wudu. So ghusl is not mentioned in this hadith. The Nabi sallallahu alaihi wasallam said the one who makes wudu and he perfects his wudu and then he comes to the Jum'ah. So as far as we're concerned, this person has only made wudu and he has not made ghusl. So this hadith, in reality this is the hadith that Ibn Baz rahimahullah ta'ala used to support his opinion. So this hadith can be used, as we mentioned, as making sarf, or it can be used as a sarif, and al-hukum, to change the ruling from what is apparent in the first hadith that we mentioned, to change the ruling from an obligation to that which is only a recommendation. Likewise, there are some other masail and some other things that the ulama have differed with regards, such as the one performing hijama, and other affairs that some of the ulama have mentioned, but we suffice with mentioning what we've added now. So the next part that Shaykh Salih Al-Fawzān hafidhahullah ta'ala goes on to mention, he talks about how to make the ghusl. Oh, yeah, of course, yes, alhamdulillah, that's fine. Yeah, so how to make the ghusl. So the first step is أن ينوي بقلبه, to make an intention. And where is the intention made? In the heart. Not on the tongue, but rather the intention is made in the heart. So he makes his intention in his heart. ثم يسمي ويغسل يديه ثلاثا ويغسل فرجه. Then he says Bismillah and he washes his hands 3 times and then he washes his private parts. Thirdly, ثم يتوضأ وضوءا كاملا. Then he makes wudu. ثم, the fourth part, ثم يحثي الماء على رأسه 3 مرات يوري أصول شعره. Then he pours water over his head 3 times, ensuring that the water penetrates his scalp. So it has to reach down to the root of his hair, to penetrate his scalp. ثم يعم بدنه بالغسل. Then he pours water over his entire body. ويدلك بدنه بيديه ليصل الماء إليه. And then he rubs his entire body with water to ensure that water reaches every single part of his body. So those are the 5 steps. The 5 steps to make ghusl. Then the Shaykh Hafidhullah Ta'ala goes on to mention وَالْمَرْأَةُ الْحَائِض أو النُّفَسَاء تنقض رأسها للغسل من الحيض والنفاس وأما الجنابة فلا تنقضه حين تغتسل لها لمشقة التكرار ولكن يجب عليها أن توري أصول شعرها بالماء. As for the woman who is menstruating or is postnatal bleeding, then she has to untie or unbraid her hair in the state of when she is making ghusl from after finishing her menstruation or her postnatal bleeding. As for when she's making ghusl from janaba, from after having intercourse, then she does not need to unbraid her hair or to untie her hair, because that will bring difficulty. But it is upon her to make sure and to ensure that she lets the water reach the roots of her hair, her scalp, to ensure that water penetrates into her scalp. ويجب على المغتسل رجلا كان أو امرأة أن يتفقد أصول شعره ومغابا بدنه وما تحت حلقه وإبطيه وسرته وطي ركبتيه وإن كان لابسا ساعة أو خاتما فإنه يحركهما ليصل الماء إلى ما تحتهما. So it's also wajib, it's an obligation upon the one who is performing ghusl, whether he be a man or a woman, that he ensures, like we said, that water penetrates into his scalp, which is the roots of his hair. And likewise to ensure that water goes into all of the body parts that are concealed, such as underneath his neck, or for example under his armpits, and likewise his navel, and likewise the back of his knees. And if he is performing ghusl and he is wearing a watch or a ring, then he has to ensure that he moves the watch or he moves the ring in order for water to reach what is underneath them, the skin that is underneath them. So he simply moves it back, washes that area, and then he can move his watch back to ensure that water touches the entire skin. وهكذا يجب أن يهتم بإسباغ الغسل بحيث لا يبقى من بدنه شيء لا يصل إليه الماء. وقال صلى الله عليه وسلم تحت كل شعرة جنابة فاغسلوا الشعر وأنقوا البشر رواه أبو داود والترمذي. So it is a must, a person ensures that the water reaches the entirety of his body, every single part of his body. And Nabi Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam said that under every single hair is janabah, impurity, state of impurity. So wash your hair and likewise cleanse the skin. ولا ينبغي له أن يسرف في صب الماء فالمشروع تقليل الماء مع الإسباغ فقد كان صلى الله عليه وسلم يتوضأ بالمد ويغتسل بالصاع. Likewise, it is not befitting that a person is extravagant or wasteful when he is using water. For what is legislated is that he perfects, making his wudu whilst using the least amount of water. As Nabi ﷺ used to perform wudu with the mud, and likewise used to make ghusl with the sa'. So the mud, like we mentioned previously, I believe we mentioned our brother Musa Richardson, Hafidhullah Ta'ala, that he mentioned that the mud, when he measured it, was roughly, I think it was 750 milliliters, roughly. So the sa' is 4 of the muds. So how much would that equate to? 3 liters of water to make ghusl, roughly. A rough estimate. فينبغي الاقتداء به في تقليل الماء وعدم الإسراف. So it's befitting that a person follows the guidance of Nabi عليه الصلاة والسلام when he used to he economize with the water, use little as much as possible of water, and likewise he never used to be wasteful when using water. كما يجب على المغتسل أن يستتر, as it's also an obligation for the one performing ghusl to screen himself. فلا يجوز أن يغتسل عريانا بين الناس. So it's not permissible for him to make ghusl whilst he is unclothed, naked in front of the people. لحديث إن الله حيي ستير يحب الحياء والستر فإذا اغتسل أحدكم فليستتر رواه Abu Dawood والنسائي. And that's due to the hadith that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is modest and He loves modesty and failing. So if one of you performs ghusl, then he must ensure that he conceals or that he veils himself. فالغسل من الحدث الأكبر أمانة من جملة الأمانات التي بين العبد وبين ربه يجب عليه أن يحافظ عليه وأن يهتم بأحكامه ليؤديه على الوجه المشروع وما أشكل عليه من أحكامه وموجباته سأل عنه. So making ghusl, performing ghusl from a major impurity, there is a trust from the trust that is between the slave and his Lord, and it is a must that he preserves those trusts, and likewise he gives importance to its rulings so that he may perform it in a legislative manner. And anything that causes him an issue in regards to its rulings, as relates to its rulings, or that which obligates it, then he asks with regarding it. وَلَا يَمْنَعُ الْحَيَاء مِنْ ذَلِكَ فَإِنَّ اللَّهَ لَا يَسْتَحْيِي مِنَ الْحَقِّ فالحياء الذي يمنع صاحبه من السؤال عن أمور دينه حياء مذموم وهو جبن من الشيطان ليثبط به الإنسان عن استكمال دينه ومعرفة ما يلزمه من أحكامه. So that which he has troubles with, or anything that he doesn't understand in relation to its rulings, and that which brings about its obligations, that which obliges him to perform it, then he asks with regards to it. They should ask with regards to it, and he should not let shyness prevent him from asking, because Allah Ta'ala is not shy from the truth. And this shyness that prevents one from asking regarding his deen, the affairs of his religion, is a shyness that is blameworthy. It's a shyness that is blameworthy. It's likewise a whisper from the shaitan in order to keep him away from completing or perfecting his deen. And likewise knowing those affairs that are binding upon him from the rulings and regulations. وأمر الطهارة عظيم والتفريط في شأنها خطير لأنها تترتب عليها صحة الصلاة التي هي عموم الإسلام. نسأل الله لنا ولجميع المسلمين البصيرة في دينه والإخلاص له في القول والعمل. We move on to the next chapter briefly to cover it. So the next chapter, which is a small chapter, بإذن الله تعالى we'll get through it, is the chapter of باب في أحكام التيمم. So the rulings in relation to التيمم. So the Shaykh حفظه الله تعالى says إن الله سبحانه وتعالى قد شرع التطهر للصلاة من الحدثين الأصغر والأكبر بالماء الذي أنزله الله لنا طهورا وهذا واجب لا بد منه مع الإمكان لكن قد تعرض حالات يكون الماء فيها معدوما أو في حكم المعدوم أو موجودا لكن يتعذر استعماله لعذر من الأعذار الشرعية. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has legislated that we purify ourselves for the salah. We purify ourselves from the minor impurities and likewise the major impurities by using water that He subhanahu wa ta'ala has sent down for us as a means of purification. And this is an affair that is an obligation that a person must use water if he is able to. However, there are some, or there could occur some instances or circumstances where water, for example, is scarce, or the ruling of it is scarce, or it could be the fact that water is available to him, to the person, however, he is unable to use, or he is excused from using the water due to those legislated excuses. وهنا قد جعل الله ما ينوب عنه وهو تيمم بالتراب تيسيرا على الخلق ورفعا للحرج. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has placed that which was provided for us, that which substitutes water, and that is the tayammum, making tayammum with pure clean earth. And this is as an ease for the creation, and likewise to remove from them any burdens or difficulties. يقول الله تعالى في محكم تنزيله يا أيها الذين آمنوا إذا قمتم إلى الصلاة فاغسلوا وجوهكم وأيديكم إلى المرافق وامسحوا برؤوسكم وأرجلكم إلى الكعبين وإن كنتم جنبا فاطهروا وإن كنتم مرضى أو على سفر أو جاء أحد منكم من الغائط أو لامستم النساء فلم تجدوا ماء فتيمموا صعيدا طيبا فامسحوا بوجوهكم وأيديكم منه ما يريد الله ليجعل عليكم من حرج ولكن يريد ليطهركم وليتم نعمته عليكم لعلكم تشكرون. So Allah Ta'ala said in the ayah, O you who believe, if you have stood for salah, then wash your face and your arms up until your elbows, and wipe over your heads, and wash your feet to your ankles. And if you are in a state of janaba, then purify yourselves. And if you are stricken by illness or upon a journey, or in need of defecating, or you have had intercourse and you do not find water, then make tayammum with pure earth. So wipe over your faces and your hands with it. That Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala does not want to place over you any burden, but rather He wants to purify you and perfect His favor upon you, perhaps that you may be from the thankful ones. طيب, فالتيمم في اللغة القصد. So the meaning of tayammum in the lugha, in linguistics, is intention, to intend. وفي الشرع, and in the legislation, هو مسح الوجه واليدين بصعيد على وجه مخصوص. It is to wipe over the face and the hands with pure earth upon a specific mannerism. وكما هو ثابت في القرآن الكريم فهو ثابت بسنة رسول الله صلى الله عليه وسلم وإجماع الأمة وهو فضيلة لهذه الأمة المحمدية اختصه الله به ولم يجعله طهورا لغيرها توسيعة عليها وإحسانا منه إليها. طيب, so as it is found and been established in the Quran, likewise tayammum has been established in the Sunnah of Allah's Messenger ﷺ, and likewise with the consensus of this ummah. And it is a privilege for this ummah that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has specified only for this ummah, and that He did not make it a means of purification for anyone else other than this ummah. طيب, ففي الصحيحين وغيرهما قال صلى الله عليه وسلم أعطيت خمسا لم يعطهن أحد قبلي, that I have been given 5 affairs that no one before me has been given. نصرت بالرعب مسيرة شهر وجعلت لي الأرض مسجدا وطهورا فأينما رجل من أمتي أدركته الصلاة فليصلي وفي لفظ فعنده مسجده وطهوره. So I've been given 5 affairs that no one before me has been given. I have been aided with placing fear in the hearts of my enemies up to the distance of a month's journey. And likewise, the earth has been made as a place of prayer and a place of purification for me. So wherever a person is, a man is from my ummah, and the salah enters in, then he is to pray. Another wording, then he has with him a place of prayer and likewise something to purify himself with. فالتيمم بدل طهارة الماء عند العجز عنه شرعا. So tayammum, performing tayammum, it is a substitute from purifying oneself with water if one is incapable of using water. يفعل بالتطهر به كل ما يفعل بالتطهر بالماء من الصلاة والطواف وقراءة القرآن وغير ذلك فإن الله جعل التيمم مطهرا كما جعل الماء مطهرا قال عليه الصلاة والسلام وجعلت تربتها يعني الأرض لنا طهورا. So tayammum, whatever is purified by using water can be purified likewise by tayammum, by using the pure earth, from the likes of purifying oneself for the salah or for making tawaf or for reciting the Quran and other than it from the ibadat. Because Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has placed or has made the tayammum as a purification, as He has made water likewise a means of purification. And Nabi sallallahu alayhi wa sallam said that the earth, clean earth, has been placed for us as a means of purification. فينوب التيمم عن الماء في أحوال هي. So tayammum has been made as a substitute from using water in the following circumstances. The first one, إذا عدم الماء, if water is scarce or if water is not found. لقوله تعالى فلم تجدوا ماء فتيمموا, and that is due to the statement of Allah Ta'ala, and you do not find water, so make tayammum. سواء عدمه في الحضر أو السفر وطلبه ولم يجده. So regardless whether it occurred, if water was unavailable to him whilst he is traveling or whilst he is a resident, as long as he has sought it out, he has tried to find it and he has not found it. The second circumstance, ثانيا إذا كان معه ماء يحتاجه لشرب وطبخ فلو تطهر منه لأضر حاجته بحيث يخاف العطش على نفسه أو عطش غيره من آدمي أو بهيمة محترمين. So the second circumstance in which tayammum has been made as a substitute from using water is if he has with him water, however he is in need of that water, for example to drink from or to cook with, and if he was to use or purify himself with that water, then he would cause harm to himself. Perhaps he would fear for himself being thirsty, or he would fear that other than him will become thirsty and dehydrated, or likewise those animals or livestock that he might have with him to become thirsty and dehydrated. ثالثا, the third circumstance in which tayammum is a substitute for using water, إذا خاف باستعمال الماء الضرر في بدنه بمرض أو تأخر برء لقوله تعالى وإن كنتم مرضى إلى قوله فتيمموا صعيدا طيبا الآية. If he fears by using water some harm, they would cause harm or inflict harm upon his body due to an illness that he might have, or perhaps that it may delay his recovery, and that is due to the statement of Allah Ta'ala, and if you are sick, up until his statement, then make tayammum with pure earth. رابعا, the fourth circumstance, إذا عجز عن استعمال الماء لمرض لا يستطيع معه الحركة وليس عنده من يوضئه ويخاف خروج الوقت. If a person is incapable of using water because he may have like an illness where he is unable to move. So he may have an illness where he is unable to move. So he may be paralyzed, or other than that, where he is physically unable to move himself to perform the wudu. And he has no one with him that is able to make the wudu for him, or to help him make his wudu. And likewise, that he fears that the time of the salah will exit. Then in this circumstance, it is allowed for the person to make tayammum. And because he has no one, he is first of all incapable of movement. Secondly, he has no one to help him, to assist him in making wudu. And thirdly, he fears that the time of the salah will exit him. So in this circumstance, he is allowed to make tayammum. And the tayammum substitutes the water in this circumstance. Fifthly, the fifth circumstance, إذا خاف بردا باستعمال الماء, if he fears catching a cold by using water. ولم يجد ما يسخنه به, and he has not found, or he does not have that which he can use to boil or heat up the water with. تيمم وصلى, then he is to make tayammum and pray. يقول تعالى ولا تقتلوا أنفسكم, and do not kill your own selves. ففي تلك الأحوال يتيمم ويصلي. So in these circumstances, then he is to perform tayammum and likewise to pray. وإن وجد ماء يكفي بعد طهره استعمله فيما يمكنه من أعضائه أو بدنه وتيمم عن الباقي الذي قصر عن الماء لقوله تعالى فاتقوا الله ما استطعتم. So if he finds, or he has with him, water that will suffice him for some, perhaps some of his wudu, then he uses that which he is able to from it to make a partial wudu of some of his limbs or some of his body, to wash himself or some of his limbs, and then he performs tayammum for the rest. So he has a bit of water with him, then he uses that water and he finishes that water first of all. For example, if he's performing wudu, then he starts his wudu with that water, and if that water runs out, then is allowed for him in this instance to make tayammum of the remainder of his limbs that he has not yet used water on. وإن كان به جرح يتضرر بغسله أو مسحه بالماء تيمم له وغسل الباقي لقوله تعالى ولا تقتلوا أنفسكم. And if he has, for example, a wound that will be harmed, if he was to wash it or wipe over it with water, then likewise he can make tayammum, and he can make tayammum over that wound, and he can wash the rest of his body, or he can wash whatever remains. And likewise that is due to the statement of Allah Ta'ala, and do not kill your own selves. وإن كان جرحه لا يتضرر بالمسح مسح الطماد الذي فوقه بالماء وكفاه المسح عن التيمم. And if he has a wound that will not be harmed by wiping over, such as he has a bandage or he wipes over the bandage with the water, then that is sufficient, and he suffices with just wiping over it rather than making tayammum. ويجوز التيمم بما على وجه الأرض من تراب وسبخة ورمل وغيره. هذا هو الصحيح من قول العلماء لقول تعالى فتيمموا صعيدا طيبا. So it's allowed for him to make tayammum with whatever is upon the face of the earth, regardless if it's clean earth or sand or other than that, which is according to the correct opinion from amongst the opinions of the scholars, due to the statement of Allah Ta'ala, and make tayammum with pure earth. وكان صلى الله عليه وسلم وأصحابه إذا أدركتهم الصلاة تيمموا بالأرض التي يصلون عليها ترابا أو غيره ولم يكونوا يحملون معهم التراب. And that is because Nabi alayhi salatu wasalam and his companions, that if the salah had approached them, that they would make tayammum with that whichever earth or ground that they are praying upon, that they never used to carry around with them earth in order to make tayammum with, that rather they would make tayammum with whatever ground that they're at and whatever ground that they're praying upon. وصفة التيمم أن يضرب التراب بيديه مفرجة الأصابع ثم يمسح وجهه بباطن أصابعه. So the manner to perform tayammum is that he strikes the ground. He strikes the ground with both of his hands, having his fingers outspread. So his fingers are spread out and he strikes the ground with both hands. Then he wipes over his face with the palm of his hands, with his fingers. ويمسح كفيه براحتيه ويعمم الوجه والكفين بالمسح. And then he wipes over the hands with his palms. So firstly, he strikes the ground with two open palms, with his fingers spread out wide. And then he wipes over his face with the palm of his hands, and then he wipes over each hand with his palms. And he is to ensure that he wipes over the entirety of the face and likewise the entirety of each hand. وإن مسح بضربتين إحداهما يمسح بها وجهه والثانية يمسح بها بدنه جاز، لكن الصفة الأولى هي الواردة عن النبي صلى الله عليه وسلم. And if he was to strike the ground twice, then likewise that is okay for him to do so, and to strike the ground twice, 2 times. The first time he strikes the ground and wipes over his face, and then he strikes the ground again and wipes over his hands or his body, then that is allowed for him to do so. But the first way that we mentioned is the way that has been reported, has come on Nabi alayhi salatu wasalam, that he would strike the ground just once with open hands, with his fingers outspread, and then he would just one time, then he'd wipe over his face with his palms and then wipe over each hand. طيب ويبطل التيمم عن حدث أصغر بمبطلات الوضوء. And the tayammum is nullified from the minor impurities, that which nullifies likewise the wudu. So those same affairs that nullify the wudu, likewise they nullify the tayammum. وعن حدث أكبر بموجبات الغسل. And likewise from a major impurity, nullifies the tayammum with those things that obligate a person to perform ghusl. Those 6 affairs that we mentioned when we covered performing the ghusl. So those same 6 affairs, and we added a 7th, that those same affairs also obligate one to perform tayammum. طيب من جنابة وحيض ونفاس. لأن البدل له حكم المبدل. That's because that which is substituted in an affair takes the same ruling as that which is being substituted. ويبطل التيمم أيضا بوجود الماء إن كان التيمم لعدمه. And that which nullifies the tayammum likewise is the finding of water. If a person finds water, and that is if he had performed tayammum due to a lack or a scarcity of water. When he finds water, his tayammum is now made invalid. He has to perform wudu or ghusl again. طيب. وبزوال العذر الذي من أجله شرع التيمم بالمرض ونحوه. And likewise, if that legislated reason that he had for not performing wudu, for example, he was ill, there's other affairs that we mentioned, the person was ill and not able to use water, so therefore he used tayammum. That if this illness goes away and he is now healed, then he goes back and resorts back to using water to make wudu, and is no longer allowed to make tayammum. طيب. ومن عدم الماء والتراب أو وصل إلى حال لا يستطيع معه لمس البشرة بماء ولا تراب فإنه يصلي على حسب حاله بلا وضوء ولا تيمم لأن الله لا يكلف نفسا إلا وسعها ولا يعيد هذه الصلاة لأنه أتى بما أمر به لقوله تعالى فاتقوا الله ما استطعتم وقوله صلى الله عليه وسلم إذا أمرتكم بأمر فأتوا منه ما استطعتم. طيب. And if he is unable to find water and clean earth, he is unable to find neither water, or he has no water nor any clean earth to make tayammum with, or he has come or reached a point where he is unable to use anything by way of water or clean earth, and he's unable for it to touch his skin, then he prays upon his current state without making wudu and without making tayammum. So he doesn't have to make wudu nor tayammum. That is because Allah Ta'ala does not burden a soul with more than it can bear. And likewise, he does not repeat this prayer because he has come with that which Allah Subhanahu wa Ta'ala had ordered him to do so, and that is in the statement of Allah Ta'ala, then fear Allah as much as you are able to. And likewise the statement of Nabi alayhi salatu wasalam, that if I have ordered you or commanded you an affair, then perform from it what you are able to. طيب. هذه جملة من أحكام التيمم سقناها لك فإن أشكل عليك شيء منها أو من غيرها فعليك أن تسأل أهل العلم ولا تتساهل في أمر دينك لا سيما أمر الصلاة التي هي عمود الإسلام فإن الأمر مهم جدا. طيب. So, and this, what we have mentioned to you, is just a general summarized form of the rulings in relation to a tayammum, and if anything has concerned you or caused you concern, then then you must ask the people of knowledge with regards to it, and do not be lenient with regards to the affairs of your deen, especially when it is the affair of the salah, which is a pillar of Islam. So this affair is very important. And the Shaykh concludes, حفظه الله تعالى, وفقنا الله جميعا للصواب والسداد في القول والعمل وأن يكون عملنا خالصا لوجه الكريم إنه سميع مجيب الدعاء. ونكتفي بهذا القدر وصلى الله وسلم على نبينا محمد وعلى آله وصحبه أجمعين. سبحانك اللهم بحمدك أشهد أن لا إله إلا أنت أستغفرك وأتوب إليك.